How's it going, Sur Ron and Segway owners? Today I'm going to be replacing my aluminum bash guard with one of these Race Spec version 2 or Pro bash guards. These are one of the polymer ones, plastic HDPE, and I've heard good things about them. I ordered this one over like a stainless or a steel bash plate, mainly for the weight. I mean, once I went with this 26-inch front wheel and just, felt the weight difference, I'm kind of becoming like a weight weenie. I know this is a heavy bike, but I don't want to add more weight than I have to. And the Race Spec bash is about the same weight as the OEM one, and it is more durable. Pros and cons to plastic, I don't know if you're familiar with the gun industry. You have Magpul. They make their P mags. Those are polymer mags, and they're incredibly durable. They run them over with trucks, and they still function fine. Glocks and Glock clones like the SIG P320 that have polymer grip modules, they're really, really great when it comes to like durability, like drops and stuff like that. Whereas metal will get specced, dented, and just damage. They take more damage because there's no flex. They're stiffer, and yeah, this thing is actually really thick. So I mean, in the videos they show people like sledgehammering them, and they're doing pretty well. So if you ever have to use the aluminum bash guard on this bike, it's gonna bend, especially here at the ears. I've high centered on like some logs and some concrete obstacles, and yeah, it's bent up. It's not touching the motor, but yeah, it's aluminum, and it's super flimsy. So that's why Luna sells two different versions. They're made out of steel. They weigh 2 to 3 times as much. And then if you check the Facebook groups, there are a bunch of other vendors that create bash plates that are way more robust than this model. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the camera. Okay, so yeah, so from what I understood earlier on, these guys are based out of Australia, and what's this? Oh, cool, little sticker. Maybe I'll put that on my little track stand. So yeah, these guys are based out of Australia, and it was taking like a month for most people to get the version 1 model, and the version 1 model, the bottom part of here was flat. There was like a little heat shield here, and this part was just threaded plastic. So now it looks like they have this brass insert. I like that they're using brass because that's going to be better against water. They also changed the design on the back end a little bit. Instead of, it has these like little raised portions right here. I'm not sure if they did that from to make it more structurally strong, or if it's just, I don't know. Who knows why they did it. So it's got the little air holes here, but yeah, it is pretty light, and it is definitely robust. So just flexing the ears on it, that's kind of what I want. There are two schools of thought. So there's this part of the bike right here, and this is like hydroformed aluminum. So on the original peg set, people were running braces across to the other side to stiffen it up, but people were advising against that because if you get in a crash, it's better to break off the peg holders than it is to damage the actual frame. So, there's going to be those two schools of thought where if you have like a full stainless steel or steel bash, a lot of that force and trauma is going to be transferred into this aluminum right here. So having something like this HDPE polymer material, it's going to have some flex and definitely some shock absorption properties. So that's why I went with this one. in particular, along with the whole weight issue. And yeah, to my surprise, I expected to wait a month for it to come, but it came in about a week. So that was really quick. And then when I saw where it came from, it came from Traverse City, Michigan. So if you're ordering in, I mean, they may have a warehouse here now or something, or have someone that can make them over here in the lower 48 or continental US. So if shipping was an issue before, where you didn't want to get anything from Race Spec because you didn't want to wait for it to come all the way across the Pacific Ocean, that's not an issue, at least for these Pro Bash guards. Again, this is the version 2 model, and of course, everything gets better as time goes on. It still has these inserts here that are already threaded, so you don't have to worry about these tabs. And I'm missing one of the tabs on the other side. As you can see, this bolt obviously isn't OEM. And moving over to the other side, this bolt isn't OEM either. And I actually have like a nut on the back side because I lost this little tab here. And what I'm hoping is, this is like my upgraded 12-volt box. Doesn't really attach to where the original one did, but the original one went out, and I had one of these on hand, and I just threw it on there. So instead of what I should have done is replaced it with an OEM one that actually mounts to the bottom of the battery tray. But I just want to get the bike up and running. That's how most people are. So I just went ahead and just installed this one, and got my lights and horn running again. So hopefully there's some space there for this bash, and we'll find out. And I do have another video regarding this step stool, so I'll go ahead and link that in the description below as well if you guys are curious. So the install for any bash plate is going to be pretty straightforward. You're just going to remove 4 bolts, and then put in the new bash plate and install the new one. What's cool about the new bash plate, again, are these pressed threaded fittings. So you don't have to worry about using these little tab pieces. And like I said earlier, I was missing one, so I had to use a nut and a bolt. So that kind of sucked. And pretty much, if you've ever high centered at all on this or used the bash, this probably already happened to your bike. So it's probably bent up here, and yeah, the weight of this is great because it's aluminum. But again, like, if you're gonna hit something with the full weight of this bike, it's not gonna be happy. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that, especially back in 2018, where a lot of the Sur Ron community was like, whoever designed this bike, it's great in terms of engineering, but they actually don't off-road because there are so many issues with it when people in North America were running it hard. Like the headset just wasn't holding up, the forks, people breaking spokes, people breaking these, breaking the peg holders. Just so many issues about the bike that some have, most of the big ones have been addressed, but a lot of them haven't. And the bash is probably like a big one. Like they should either have a steel one, or they're probably never gonna do something plastic like this. But yeah, this is just way too weak. So if you're gonna do any off-roading where you have a chance of actually hitting something, the motor housing is probably more durable than this actual bash. I'm not saying just take off the bash. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of wires there that should be protected. But yeah, this is definitely not adequate for any type of rough terrain where you might be balancing the center of the bike off some rocks. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this one, see how it fits. I have a mishmash of different size bolts. This is the one that I had here on on the top right might work out perfect for this recessed brass fitting. So, you know, like anything, they say, you know, don't over torque or cross thread stuff. So yeah, we'll see how it looks. So the install's pretty easy. So I don't see how anyone would really mess it up. It's literally just 4 bolts, and yeah, the old instructions would tell you to start at this bolt specifically, but I mean, you just line them up, get some threads in, and then once you're sure that it's not cross-threaded, just start tightening them down individually, and then once all of them are hand tightened down, then just start snugging them, and it should be good to go. I should have probably put some Vibratite on the threads, but yeah, I was a little lazy, so I don't expect to lose any of the bolts, but if I do, it's a pretty common size. I'll be able to find a replacement pretty easily. And yeah, as you can see, I already have 2 replacements for the old ones. So let's see what it looks like on the other side. So yeah, that's what it looks like on the other side. Still using a zip tie for my little box. Should be in the same amount of space. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, the bottom of the battery tray is super thick, so if this flexes to the point where it smashes that box up into it, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I doubt there's gonna be anything I really need to worry about. But yeah, super easy. And yeah, this is another replacement bolt. This one's actually 6mm head, like grade 8 from just a local hardware store. So probably even stronger than whatever these ones were. So let's, one thing I was concerned about with this smooth bottom was how it would be on my little portable track stand thingy. Because I do travel with this almost on a daily basis, taking off the front wheel and getting the front wheel back on. I don't like flipping the bike, I like using the track stand. Yeah, it's pretty much essential for me that it'll balance on that. So let's give that a test, and then I'll test my Pittsburgh stand as well. Well, seems to not have any lateral tilt issues. Pretty solid. Both my cranks clear. Looks good. My actual frame is not touching. Yeah, let's go ahead and test out that Pittsburgh. And there you have it. Looks pretty good. So I think maybe they put those little ripples there to make the bottom a little more flat. But this is an awesome bash. And this is also an awesome portable stand if you need to travel with one. So yeah, we'll see how it goes when I actually start hitting stuff with it. I'm pretty sure it's going to do a lot better than the aluminum one, which took damage on pretty much its first ride. So definitely one of those must upgrade parts if you're riding it hard, and well, not just riding hard, just riding it in areas where clearance is an issue and you're already striking it. So I imagine a lot of people don't even need it. They're fine with the factory one, but for those people who are going over logs and rocks and other things, yeah, definitely upgrade to something else. This is I like this one again for various, you know, the various pros and cons. Just going back to that, it's polymer. It's gonna flex. It's gonna take some shock, and it's not gonna transfer it to that frame as the same way steel would, or the aluminum one for that matter. And it's light. It weighs as much as the factory one, and yeah, the steel ones are like double to triple the weight, depending on how much coverage you want. And I know here in the US, a lot of people aren't too concerned about adding weight to the bike, but I know elsewhere weight is a big issue on these things. So yeah, use your better judgment on which bash is going to be the best for you. All right, have a good one, everyone.